name is Kayise Ngqula. I'm an actress and television host, master of ceremonies, and a budding entrepreneur. I'd certainly say my career chose me. I didn't choose it. It's a calling that I've had for most of my life, and I think I chose to finally yield to the call, and in that sense I certainly believe that it chose me, and that's how I ended up where I am today. I was hungry for it. You know, when you go through life and you are not living in your true purpose, you know, you're always going to feel like there's something missing. There's something that's not quite there. You know, the nut is not really in the bolt. And I really felt that by not going for it, I'd be giving myself, you know, kind of an underhand or raw deal. So I had to for myself, to prove it for my own validation, to say, if I feel that I was born to do this, then man, I've got to go out there and do it. And luckily for me, the rest of the world believed so too. It really wasn't easy. This is an industry that I think is the most wanted by this generation, because we're living in a time where everybody's kind of unleashing their creative side and they want to share it to the world. They want people to be out there and appreciate it. And you know, this is kind of ringing in my mind, the conversation of open up the industry. But I think we need to stop thinking of it as an industry and think of your creative process and just trust that the universe is going to accept it somewhere, somehow. Someone will notice you. So I think the biggest challenge for me was probably being compared to the next, because that's what it does. You get your rejections, but you're always compared with, she's prettier, she's better, you know, there's always something about you that's never great. But I think trusting in your abilities, you know, all honestly, I think for me carries you to the next step, and before you know it, people are appreciating you for who you are and what you do. The vision was always clear, but how to get there was certainly not always clear. And I think there's certain ways that I would apply myself by kind of being accountable to myself. There's certain values that I kind of uphold, you know, for my own self. And when I go astray a little bit, I bring myself towards myself and remind myself that this is the vision, and I don't stop, you know, until I get there. Well, now that I'm a mom, it's just to kiss my son. But certainly to say my daily prayers, my daily devotions. I am the king's daughter, you know, and when you're the daughter of a king, you've got to, I suppose, live that way. You know, you've got to appreciate the small things that God, you know, even just waking up on that morning to say, thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. Those are things that I live by. I motivate myself quite a lot. It's not always easy. So I read things that motivate me to be a better person than I was yesterday. Yeah. Certainly God's voice. God's voice is a big one for me, and I speak to him, I have conversations with him, and I know that those conversations will never lead me astray. Certainly my mother's voice, and I'd like to group my mother and my husband in one, because that's family for me. Those are people who, without a doubt, are always constantly motivating me, even when I don't see it in myself. And I would say Mama O. For those who don't know Mama O, that's Oprah Winfrey. I could talk till the end of the world, but really, there's nothing anyone can take away from you. Absolutely nothing. You're on this world and on this universe to contribute something unique, something beautiful. And I know the path to finding that greatness is not always easy. It's sometimes faced with tribulations and trials that really draw yourself to a place of being despondent, but you've got to keep going, you've got to keep moving, because like I said, there is nobody else in this world.